Have you ever felt a more profound calling? Maybe it's a whisper in your heart or a stirring in your soul, as if you're destined for something greater, something extraordinary. It's not just coincidence, and it's not random. What if I told you that the Bible speaks directly about people like you, those chosen for a divine purpose? Imagine for a moment. What if you are one of them? Could you be among the chosen ones? Throughout history, God has called ordinary individuals into extraordinary roles. These weren't perfect people. They were flawed, doubting, and often scared. But they answered the call, and their lives were transformed in ways they never imagined. Today, more than ever, many of us are searching for purpose, meaning, and reason to move forward. And the Bible offers profound guidance for those who feel called to something greater. It's not about being special or elite. It's about embracing your role in God's plan for the world. Being chosen is not just a biblical concept. It's about personal transformation and spiritual awakening. It's about stepping into the person you were meant to be, guided by divine purpose. And let's be honest, who hasn't wondered if their life could hold more meaning, more impact? In today's video, we'll explore what it truly means to be chosen, as taught by the Bible. We'll also explore how this shapes your spiritual journey, and more importantly, how you can embrace this divine calling in your everyday life. So, whether you've felt a pull towards something greater, or you're just curious about what the Bible has to say, stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand what it means to be chosen and be inspired to live it. What does it truly mean to be chosen? The Bible gives us a profound answer, revealing that being chosen isn't about status or exclusivity, but responsibility and purpose. In Jeremiah 1:5, God speaks directly to the prophet, saying, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." This verse highlights that being chosen begins with God's intimate knowledge of us and His unique purpose for our lives. In John 15:16, Jesus tells His disciples, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit." And in Ephesians 1:4, we learn that God chose us in Him before the world's creation to be holy and blameless in His sight. These scriptures emphasize that being chosen is an invitation to align with God's greater plan, a call to serve and make a difference in the world. Throughout the Bible, we see examples of ordinary people who were chosen for extraordinary tasks. Take Moses, for instance, a man who doubted his abilities and even questioned God's decision to call him. Yet, through God's guidance, Moses led an entire nation to freedom. Or Esther, a young woman who was placed in a position of influence and risked her life to save her people. Then there's David, a shepherd boy, overlooked by others, but chosen by God to become a king and a man after His own heart. And let's not forget Paul, once a fierce persecutor of Christians who was transformed into one of the most influential apostles of all time. These stories remind us that being chosen doesn't mean life will be easy. Moses faced Pharaoh, Esther confronted a king, David battled giants, and Paul endured countless trials. But through their struggles, they found purpose, strength, and ultimately a profound impact on the world around them. And what about today? Being chosen is just as relevant now as it was then. It's not about being perfect, it's about being willing. These stories invite us to reflect on our own lives. Are we listening to God's call? Are we willing to step into a purpose greater than ourselves? Like Moses, Esther, David, and Paul, we may face challenges and doubts, but those moments often shape us for the mission we've been called to fulfill. Being chosen is timeless. It's about saying yes to a journey that transforms not just our lives, but the lives of those around us. How can you tell if you're one of the chosen ones? While the idea might feel mysterious, there are signs, powerful, undeniable indicators that can reveal this divine calling. If you've ever felt that your life is meant for something greater, that sense of purpose might not just be your imagination. It could be a spiritual truth unfolding in your life. One of the most common signs of being chosen is a spiritual awakening. This isn't just a sudden epiphany, but rather an ongoing process where your perception of the world begins to shift. You start noticing things you never did before, a heightened sense of intuition, as if there's an inner guide leading you forward. You might feel more attuned to the needs of others, or find yourself drawn to ideas, experiences, or even people that seem to align with a deeper truth. Have you ever felt that inexplicable longing for something greater? It's what many call divine restlessness. This isn't just dissatisfaction with daily life. It's a profound yearning for meaning, connection, and something that resonates deeply with your soul. It's as though your spirit knows there's a higher calling, even if your mind can't fully articulate what that is. This restlessness can feel uncomfortable, even unsettling, but it's one of the clearest signs that God is stirring your heart for a greater purpose. But being chosen doesn't come without challenges. If you've felt this stirring, you've likely also faced trials that test your resolve. You might wrestle with self-doubt, asking yourself questions like, am I good enough? Am I capable of fulfilling this purpose? These doubts aren't unique to you. Even the most prominent figures in the Bible, Moses, Esther, and David, struggled with these feelings. Moses questioned his ability to speak. Esther feared for her life. Though anointed as king, David spent years on the run before stepping into his role. Another challenge many chosen people face is isolation. It's common to feel misunderstood or alone as you navigate this journey. When God calls you to something greater, it often requires stepping away from old patterns, relationships, or comforts. This can feel lonely, but God often does his greatest work within us in these moments of solitude. Jesus experienced this during his 40 days in the wilderness, where he faced temptations and prepared for his ministry. Spiritual battles are another hallmark of being chosen. These aren't just external conflicts, but internal ones, struggles with fear, insecurity, or even complacency. There's a reason why the Bible speaks of putting on the armor of God. The journey of the chosen requires courage, perseverance, and faith. Yet even in the midst of trials, there's hope. These challenges aren't meant to break you, but to refine you. Think about gold. It's only through intense heat that it's purified. In the same way, these trials are shaping you, preparing you for the role God has designed for you. Let's look at the ultimate example, Jesus. From the very beginning of his ministry, he faced immense challenges. He was tempted in the wilderness, rejected by his people, and endured the cross. Yet through it all, he remained steadfast, fulfilling his purpose with love, grace, and courage. His journey teaches us that trials are not signs of abandonment, they're part of stepping into something greater. If you felt these signs, this awakening, restlessness, or even the weight of challenges, don't ignore them. They could be God saying, I have something greater for you. That tug on your heart isn't just a coincidence, it's an invitation to align your life with his purpose. So, what should you do if you recognize these signs? First, lean into them. Spend time in prayer or meditation, seeking clarity and direction. Open your heart to God's guidance, even if the path feels unclear. Surround yourself with people who inspire and uplift you, those who can walk alongside you on this journey. And remember, being chosen isn't about being perfect, it's about being willing. The journey of the chosen is not always easy, but it is deeply rewarding. It's a path that transforms not only your life, but the lives of those around you. You have a purpose, a mission, and a calling uniquely yours. So, don't dismiss it if you felt that stirring in your heart. Embrace it. Take the first step, even if it's small. The challenges you face today prepare you for the impact you'll make tomorrow. You are chosen for something greater, and the world is waiting for you to step into your calling. Will you answer it? Being chosen is not just about recognizing your calling. It's about stepping into it with faith, humility, and a willingness to grow. Embracing your role as a chosen one means aligning your life with God's plan and allowing His purpose to shape your actions, relationships, and daily decisions. One of the most transformative ways to align with God's plan is through faith-filled practices like prayer. Prayer is not just about asking for things, it's about creating a dialogue with God, seeking His guidance, and opening your heart to His wisdom. In these moments of stillness, we often gain the clarity we need to move forward. Alongside prayer, studying Scripture becomes a vital tool. The Bible is filled with wisdom, stories, and lessons illuminating God's plan for His chosen people. As you dive deeper into His Word, you see how His promises apply to your journey. Building a relationship with God is the foundation of walking this path. This relationship is nurtured through personal devotion and a posture of humility. Being chosen isn't about being exalted, it's about serving. Jesus, the ultimate example of a chosen one, washed His disciples' feet to demonstrate that true greatness comes through service. In the same way, we are called to serve others, whether through acts of kindness, words of encouragement, or simply being present for those in need. Cultivating spiritual discipline is essential to fully embracing this role. Meditation on the Word allows us to internalize God's truths, transforming our thoughts and actions. Community worship provides an opportunity to connect with others and experience the power of collective faith. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, are tangible ways to live out the love and compassion that God calls us to embody. Walking the path of a chosen one also requires obedience and surrender. Obedience is not about blindly following rules, but trusting that God's plan is greater than our own. It's about taking steps of faith, even when the path isn't clear. Surrender, on the other hand, means letting go of our need for control and allowing God to lead. In this act of surrender, we find true freedom, freedom to become who we were created to be. As you navigate this journey, finding community is crucial. Being chosen is not a solitary path. It thrives on connection and mutual support. Seek out others who are on a similar spiritual journey. Whether it's a church group, a Bible study, or simply a trusted circle of friends, these relationships provide encouragement, accountability, and insight. Sharing your experiences and hearing others' stories can deepen your understanding of God's work in your life. In this journey, there will be challenges, but there will also be moments of profound joy and transformation. Each step you take, whether through prayer, study, service, or fellowship, brings you closer to living out your calling as a chosen one. Remember, you don't have to have it all figured out today. God's plan unfolds in His timing, not ours. So take that first step. Begin with a prayer, open your Bible, reach out to someone who inspires your faith, or pause and reflect on how God might call you to serve. As you do, you'll find that embracing your role as a chosen one is not just about fulfilling a duty. It's about stepping into the fullness of life that God has prepared for you. This is your time to shine His light in the world. Will you say yes? Being chosen is not about being perfect, it's about being willing. It's about progress, not flawlessness, and purpose over perfection. God isn't looking for the most qualified, the most talented, or the most prepared. He calls those willing to trust Him, even in their imperfection. Remember, the Bible is filled with stories of individuals who felt unworthy, unprepared, and uncertain. Yet God used them mightily because they said yes. God calls the willing, not the flawless. He doesn't expect us to have everything figured out or to have it all together. He asks for an open heart, a spirit ready to grow, and hands willing to do the work. Suppose if you felt that tug in your heart, that yearning for something great, take it as a sign that God is calling you. He sees your potential even when you can't. Now is the time to reflect on your journey. What might God be calling you to do? Is it a step towards serving others? A moment to deepen your faith? Or a chance to let go of something holding you back? These questions are not meant to overwhelm you, but to guide you toward clarity. Take a moment to ask yourself, how can you start answering that call today? Even the smallest steps can lead to profound transformation. I'd love to hear from you. Have you experienced signs of being chosen? Do you feel a stirring in your heart, or have you begun to walk this path? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story could be exactly what someone else needs to hear to find the courage to step into their calling. If this video has inspired or encouraged you, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others seeking spiritual inspiration. Let's build a community where we uplift and support each other in this journey of faith and purpose. Every like, comment, and subscription is not just an action, it's a step towards spreading light and hope to more people who need it. You are chosen, you are loved, and you are capable of incredible things when you trust in God's plan for your life. So say yes to the journey, embrace the purpose you were made for, and step boldly into the life that's waiting for you. Let's walk this path together. As we come to the end of this journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored. We've uncovered the biblical meaning of being chosen, not as a status of perfection, but as a call to purpose and responsibility. We've discussed the signs that you might be chosen, from spiritual awakening to divine restlessness, and how challenges often serve as preparation for the greater mission ahead. And finally, we've talked about practical ways to embrace this role, through faith, humility, spiritual practices, and finding a supportive community. The message is clear. Being chosen is not a burden, it's a gift. It's an opportunity to live a life filled with meaning, purpose, and impact. God doesn't call the flawless, He calls the willing. If you've ever doubted whether you're enough, remember this: God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. All He asks is for you to trust Him and take the first step. As you move forward, let this truth guide you. You are chosen, loved, and have a unique purpose that only you can fulfill. This is your moment to step into that calling with faith and confidence. If this video resonates with you, I invite you to explore more content on the channel. We're building a space for spiritual growth, enlightenment, and encouragement, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need this message today. Together, let's continue to grow, learn, and walk this path of faith with courage and hope. You're not alone. This community is here to support you every step of the way. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Remember, being chosen is your opportunity to shine God's light in a world that needs it. Let's walk boldly into that calling together.